Hello everyone, Nico Me here, and today I'm talking about Ninetales. If you haven't seen the news this morning, you're probably like, Nico, it's not 1999, why are you talking about Ninetales? It came out 20 years ago. Well, sir, the reason why is because there's a Lola Ninetales. What the heck is a Alolan Ninetales? Well, it's basically a new form of Ninetales which you can only find in the Alola region. It transforms into a fairy ice instead of a fire type. So it doesn't really transform anymore, so you find it as an ice, as Vulpix, and then it evolves into Ninetales as a fairy ice, which is a really, really cool typing, and typing that I've always wanted ever since fairy got released. So the crazy thing is, I don't think anyone ever expected something like this, and it makes Pokemon like Ninetales possibly coming back to the game in a way that you have never expected, and it could possibly come back to like OU, because if you guys remember in Gen 5, Ninetales was like the #1 Pokemon when Weather Wars were having. It was basically you used a Ninetales or you used Politoed, so this might make Ninetales viable again, and I think it will. So we're gonna go move by move of what I think Lola Ninetales should be and will be, and what I think its stats will be, and yeah, I'm really excited to see what it ends up, because this is one of my favorite designs in a long time. So sadly, we know the ability of Alola Ninetales is Snow Cloak. Snow Cloak makes it so you have more evasiveness, whatever that thing is. The word that means you can dodge moves easier when in the snow. I don't want to say it's the worst possible ability, but it's probably one of the worst abilities when it comes to a new Pokemon that you really want to do good. It just doesn't really help, because how many times are you really going to have Hail happening if you are not using a Hail team? So it's basically saying Alola Ninetales, its ability is only going to be useful if you're using a mono ice team, which, I mean, I'm not saying that's impossible, but you're definitely not going to use that all the time, you know what I mean? So I'm hoping that it gets a hidden ability, something like, I don't know, competitive. I really like that ability that Milotic has, or maybe like one of the weird ghost ones, like maybe a prankster. That way it would be really good with Will-O-Wisp, and maybe even something like Aftermath or something, just something cool. I hope it gets a cool hidden ability. Onto its moves, I think it's going to have similar moves that it had before. So if we look at right there next to Alola Ninetales is regular stats. It has very good speed, good special defense, not that great attack, better special attack. So I still think it's going to be a special attacking beast, and it's going to be a speedy one, good special defense. The only thing that I think is going to change is I think it's going to be a little lighter in the way that I think it's going to be faster but have less defenses. So maybe that special defense would go down to a 95, that defense would go down to a 65, and then the speed would go up to maybe 150, 120. I think that'd be a really good idea for it, because it looks more like a glass cannon rather than Ninetales, which it's pretty bulky in its special defense. So I think this one would be speedier, but less defenses. I gave it the item Life Orb, so that way it can do big attacks with its special attack. I gave it its great stab moves, Ice Beam and Moonblast. These are great moves. I almost gave it Blizzard. If you're going to use a mono ice type team, meaning like basically you have a ice gym, meaning you have all ice Pokemon, if you're going to do an Obama Snow with Snow Warning, maybe you'd want to do Blizzard, because Blizzard has 100% hit ratio if you have Hail out. So replace Ice Beam with Blizzard if you're going to do a whole ice team, but if you're just going to use it in your regular team in the game or competitively, use Ice Beam instead. And then Moonblast, doing a ton of damage. You're going to be able to kill those fighting types, all the dragon types, dark types. It has lots of coverage here. Substitute, basically, since it's so fast and a lot of people are probably going to want to switch out once you go to Ninetales. I say this because if your opponent has a grass type, they're not going to do much against ice. If your opponent has a water type, they're not going to do much against ice. If your opponent has a dragon type, they can't hurt fairy. So there's a lot of times where you're going to bring out Ninetales and they're going to have to switch out. So you do substitute and build up with nasty plot, meaning its special attack is going to be huge, doubled. So say it's 80, it's going to be 160. And then you also are going to have the substitute, and it's going to be super speedy. It's just going to be a great idea. And then you're going to have Ice Beam to hurt so many types. Rock, flying, ground, grass, I said. And then Moonblast, obviously also Dragon, and Fighting and Dark. You have so much type coverage with those two moves. And yeah, so one thing I wanted to say before ending this video, I think maybe Alolan Ninetales can breed with normal Ninetales, meaning that I could get Flamethrower. Flamethrower would be pretty good too. The thing is, Ice and Moonblast, Ice Beam and Moonblast, they kind of share the same thing in Dragon, so maybe you'd want to do Flamethrower instead of Ice Beam. That way you can cover against other types like Grass and Steel, because Steel is going to hurt the fairy. So maybe we might think of that too. Comment down below. If you can learn Flamethrower, would you replace Ice Beam or Moonblast, or would you keep those two and ignore Flamethrower? And the final thing I wanted to say before getting over this video, let's look at its resistance, unaffected, and weak to. So moves that it is resistant to. So when your opponent uses these three types, it will do half damage. Bug, Dark, Ice. That's a pretty good layup right there. It's unaffected by dragons because of the fairy typing. And these four types are super effective on it. Fire, Poison, Rock, Steel. That's a pretty good coverage, but gladly, those aren't extremely popular types like Water, Dragon, Ground. I would say those are the more common types, but I would say Rock and Fire are kind of common too, but they're not the worst types to be weak to. So, thank you for watching. For more Pokemon Sun Moon news and videos like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I'm going to be doing this for Sandslash and Execute. So funny. But yeah, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.